Okay, next film I'm reviewing is an indie flick called The Merry Gentleman, and it stars Michael Keaton, who most of you will most likely know from 1989's Batman. Yes, he was the title character. He was, well, the Dark Knight before the actual movie The Dark Knight, anyway, you get what I'm saying. He was also in the sequel Batman Returns, and Keaton was always a very underrated actor despite those tremendous turns as Batman, and was also very funny in films like Beetlejuice, which some of you may also know, and another film, Johnny Dangerously, which he's very funny in. He is also great in other films like Touch and Go and Clean and Sober. However, Keaton did have his shortcomings, which ultimately hurt his star power in the long run, and that's choosing some crappy roles such as The Squeeze, Multiplicity, and Jack, the oddly downright weird-looking Jack Frost, and not to mention Herbie Fully Loaded. The fact is, Keaton is so capable of so much that he can turn even the most simplest character into an extravaganza like he did in the underrated film Game 6, where he even managed to outshine Robert Downey Jr., which can rarely be done. It makes it all the more sad when I watch some of those other films with Keaton, because I know how good he is. And you know what? He does that same thing here. He creates this character and makes him just stand out. He plays Frank Logan, a Chicago hitman who is one of the best at what he does and could make a living doing it until he dies. But the thing that makes him so complex is that he wants to die. He is depressed and suicidal. But he meets a young, troubled woman under crazy circumstances, played by Kelly MacDonald, best known for her role as Josh Brolin's wife in No Country for Old Men. And the two meet as Logan is done another successful job, but he is prepared, however, to kill himself, and he is spotted by this woman who screams at the sight of this man, threatening to plunge himself off a building. Her reaction throws him off base, and of course he can't do it. And so that is how they meet. But this movie takes an unexpected yet great twist pretty quick that involved both Logan and this woman, as well as a third party, which I won't give away. But the film has a great character study of the three central characters, and Keaton, who also directed, is just in a complete zone of his own here as he makes us understand the psychology of his character. He's so complex, but yet at the same time, when it comes down to it, when we finally figure these things out about his character, when we all of a sudden realize these things, that these elements that made him such a mystery, you think it should be pretty obvious. That's the depth of a great character. Keaton writes this character just perfect can be, as he does the others in this film. Or I shouldn't say writes, but directs the character is, I guess, a better term. I should go more in depth, but you know, it's just one of those films that I'd just be giving way too much away. It's a great look at three very interesting and very troubled characters who are very different but yet similar simultaneously. And the performances, especially Keaton's, are really good. And I have to give MacDonald props for really coming into her own here, showing the promise that she did show in No Country for Old Men. So for that, The Merry Gentleman gets 4 stars out of 5.